Hello, everyone, for this part 7 of 7, 6, 7, 7, I think, yeah. 7 of the modding tutorial for the Karters 2 considering tracks. So we were doing the final elements of the modding of our track. So last video we did, if I'm not mistaken, the item boxes and the jump triggers. So this time, in this video, we'll be looking at road blockers and the minimap. So road blockers, let's follow the wiki still in the same order as always. So the road blocker is, as you know, in the Karters 2, you have some specific situations where you have shortcuts, but those shortcuts, you don't want them to be taken before a certain lap. So to do this, you can have some blockers, some objects which are on the track for only a specific amount of time, a specific amount of time based on the map actually, the lap, sorry, actually. So what we are going to do to make an example of this, because we can show it here. We are actually we are going to lock this this shortcut. We are actually going to block it as long as it's not at least the second lap. So the idea, there you go, boom. So the idea is that I'm going to put something here that will be removed at lap 2. So how do we do this? I'm just closing this because I don't need it anymore. So setting it up. So sorry. You have in the PTK mod track data variant, you have something called lap road blocker. So you have 3 objects, and you have road blockers hidden from HUD lap 2, 3, and 4x. So leave them as is. I'm just going to go into the basis because you could do more for tracks that needs to be like will have more than 3 laps, but let's just keep it as something disappears on lap 2, something disappears on lap 3. So first thing to show is that those two have different values in the inspector. You have a PTK road blocker info that says here is hidden from lap this. And it also says what does it block? Like what segment does it block? So what is a segment? If you remember on the racetrack nav points, we actually set a road main and a segment 1. So the segment 1 is the shortcut. So the main road will always be available. This assessed. The segment 1, however, could be still accessible any time. For example, on Chinese Room, you can actually jump the first on the first platform and then go down. But on the left, you have road blockers. So the first road on the right can be taken. The second road on the left can't. So the segment 1 is this shortcut. For now, we could take it every time. So what we are going to do actually is say that it's hidden until lap 2, and that it affects the road segment 1. This means that the AI will not go through here while we are not at lap 2. So considering to try to recap, because it could be a bit complicated, this is the lap at which the blocker will disappear. And this means that we are actually blocking with this, we're actually blocking the segment 1. And here we have segment 1, which is our shortcut. So there you go. So what we're going to do is, as we said, okay, lab 2 want this to disappear and it affects this part of the map. So how do we do this? So we are actually going to do something that is not pretty, but it's an example, so just so you can see how it works. So I'm going to create a new object, empty. I'm going to call it, for example, shortcut blocker. This will actually have my object I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a 3D object, which is a cube. And I'm going to call it visual. We'll just leave it like this. We'll say blocker. So this is the blocker. It has a collider, it has a mesh, and you don't see it because it's actually far away. So let's set its scale to 10, 10, 10, and let's put it here. So front, boom. There it is. So just setting its rotation to 0, 0, 0, and we have a pretty square. So now what I'm going to do is rotate it as I want, like this, for example, like this. The scale on X is going to go further, and we're going to change its scale a bit. I think 10 is fine, and I'll just make it a bit higher. So as I said, it's an example, and it's not supposed to be pretty or realistic, but you can see the points. So you have this there, and it's pretty. It's like no one's going to go here by any means. There you go. So yeah, I'm just blocking everything. There. So this is my collider, and don't forget it's a collider, which means you need to put it as something. So it's a wall collider because I don't want I don't want anyone to respawn if they go there, and at the same time I don't want people to ride on it. So it's looking fine. It's big white, so this is something. So here is our super cool, cute, and everything wall, and we're actually going to make it a bit higher, like this. So here we have a shortcut blocker, which is a wall collider with his collider. We can close this, and actually, in the future, you can actually add some colliders to avoid some things, and then only add the visual, which would mean that the visual and the collider can be safer. You can have a basic collider like I don't have the name in English. I'm sorry. You can have something that is not looks like you can go through, but the real collider is actually a box collider which you won't ever go through. So there you go. About this, I haven't tested it, so might not be the case. I'm not sure if you can go through with a teleporter or not. I haven't tested it, so maybe it's working, maybe it doesn't. So I'm not going to tell you anything about this. Just you can try. Maybe it's something that will be added in the future. Maybe it's because of this, for example. But like, okay. So here we actually finished our road blockers, which is great. So now we're going to go to the last part before exporting our map, and this is great. So what do we need to do? This time, following the wiki again, we need to enter the minimap road render base. So you can see you can see that you actually don't see anything. What we need to do is to duplicate the road assets, to put it here, and to change its material. So a lot of information. But to do this will permit to have a cool minimap on it. So first thing to do is to get our model. As you can see, do not move them. And don't do anything. So there, what I'm going to actually do is we have the map here. So good thing we only have this. So what I'm going to do is to duplicate it and move it here. Now you can see that even in Minimap, I can see this. I think I could actually create a minimap using this visual, and I think it could be really funny actually. But I'm going to show you how to not do this. So go back to here, select your meshes. If you have multiple, just take them all. Go into mesh renderer, take the element you have. If there's more elements, because you have sometimes, so what's the name of it? You have sometimes some objects which have more elements because they have more materials than one. You can just set this to the maximum of the maximum one and just set the material to the same thing. So you have main road. I'm just going to show you have main road, which is a beautiful yellow, orange. And there you go. So now, yes, what I didn't mention, I did it, but it was a reflex, is that you need to be into game. When you have a game window, you actually see your map. So the difference between the rendered minimap and the minimap you actually see is the rendered minimap is the map that is saved as an image. Here we're actually watching using the camera from the UI. So to be able to put it in the center, because this is not at all in the center, we are going to move here. You have the PTK minimap render and save. So the logic setup and the finished line don't change anything. Underneath, you have edit camera pose and size, which we'll be modifying, and last generated minimap, which we are not going to touch except this later on, the button later on, and this you don't care. So, as I said, you're going to touch the edit camera and position and size. So first thing to do is to try and put it quite in the middle, so like this and like this. So I'm quite in the middle. Now I'm going to change this slider, which is the focus of it, if it's bigger or not. So I'm going to try and put it again more in the center and try to keep at least one block, one small cube here, one small tile of distance in the and for each side. Like this, it will not be too close to the sides. So what I'm going to do is just make it a bit bigger and to move a bit like this. I think it's good, like this. There you go. So now it's centered. So now that we have this, it's good. And just click this button. Boom. It will ask where you want to go. You can select, and then you have a bit of time where it's actually generating the minimap. Minimap was rendered successfully. Thank you. And here you can see what the minimap looks like. So, as you can see, it's a bit more than the distance here because you have, like, it has things above. So it looks good. And we have the finish line. Now that we have this, we'll just continue on the wiki page, continue, minimap, saved, and there you go. And it's actually finished. So you have the rainbow road, you have your minimap, and now that you have everything that has been done, well done, friends, you actually created your personal custom track, custom modded track for the Karters 2. So we're going to finish this video here, and I'm going to create another video to be able to export, to export your track into the game and then publish it. So I'm really happy that we gone so far, and you've got so far. It's a bit it's not hard actually. It's just a bit complicated to get into it, but once you've done it, like 2-3 times, it's actually really, really intuitive. You really get the way to do it, and in 30 minutes you can have something working if you have an actual 3D asset which is good and easy to work with, like this one. So I'll see you for the export. Bye bye.